I've got some bad news, everyone. A lot of people cheat in track and field. There are many people who understandably are skeptical about a lot of the best performances that we see in athletics, and that's because of cases like this. Unfortunately, it looks as though Divine Oduduru, one of the best sprinters to ever come out of the NCAA, hailing from Nigeria, is currently serving a provisional ban in connection with Blessing Okabare's ban as well. Now, if you don't remember, back in 2021 in the Olympic Games, Blessing Okagbare was suspended after failing a drug test, testing positive for human growth hormone, and she actually won her first heat, but afterwards she was officially banned because she tested positive. And it turns out that there was actually some connection during an FBI investigation with Okagbare, connecting her with Eric Lira from Texas. Now, the story of Eric Lira's investigation is a very long one, and I will link down below an article that showcases this ban. And to make a long story short, basically, he was in connection with multiple athletes in Texas in the late 2010s and in the early 2020s, and basically distributed in a very wide scale banned substances and performance-enhancing drugs, and Blessing Okagbare was one of these people. Now, the messages that were found between Okagbare and Lira are just wild. For a long time, it seemed as though the current athletics integrity unit's ability to control athletes and their substances was pretty good, but it turns out there's a lot of loopholes in the system. For one, an athlete can have what's called a whereabouts failure if they miss 3 tests within a 1-year period. But it seems as though many people plan on actually missing a test because they don't want to show their positive results soon after they take their banned substance. And it appears as though Blessing Okagbare did this back in 2021 because there was an actual text message between her and Lira where she asked him whether or not it would be okay to take a test the following day, where Lira basically says, no, you don't have too much of that in your system, and Okagbare basically says, no, don't remember, I took this yesterday as well, so if I took the test tomorrow after taking it again today, I would probably fail, right? The interesting thing about this is that they used some code words and tried to elude the actual reality that they were using these performance-enhancing drugs, but as it turns out, the FBI is really good at what they do, and it doesn't even matter anyways because Okagbare failed a drug test twice in 2021, one for HGH, human growth hormone, and one for EPO. And I didn't know this, but I thought EPO was mostly for endurance athletes, such as the people that do the Tour de France or even endurance runners like marathoners. But apparently, this is what Blessing Okagbare used as well, so I'm not entirely sure on the specifics on that, but either way, she failed 2 tests, and she is actually banned for a whopping 11 years, which would make her 43 years old when she would be able to come back, so the odds of her ever competing in a world championship or Olympic event ever again is extremely low. And right around the time when she was being found to have done all of these things is when they found what they called athlete number 2. And the reason that they called this athlete Athlete 2 is because they had no idea who this person was. All they knew is that this person was in connection with Blessing Okagbare, and they were taking illegal substances and basically receiving guidance from Eric Lira as well. But just a few days ago, it turned out that this person is very, very likely Divine Oduduru, the man that was a double NCAA champion from 2019 in both the 100 and the 200 meters. Now, I think that Oduduru is still the national record holder for Nigeria in both the 100 and 200, and I believe he ran a 9.86 back in 2019 for Texas Tech, and he also ran a very quick time of 19.73, I believe, in the men's 200. And when we take a look at his personal records and progression in the 100, we see that he ran this 9.86 in 2019, and since that time, he has not been able to break the 10-second barrier. And a similar thing can be seen in the 200. In 2019, he ran 19.73, 2020, he ran 20.22, and he did go 19.88 in 2021, but it's still not quite as fast as a 19.73. Either way, it makes all of his performances in the past very, very questionable at best, and the FBI has really, really gone in great depth into who this person is, and this is still a provisional ban, but the odds are that this is Divine Oduduru from what I've read. Again, I'll attach all of the links that I've been doing for research in the description down below so you can read for yourself. Now, only adding to the questionable nature of this situation is the fact that Okagbare and Oduduru were a part of the Tumbleweed Track Club, coached by Rana Rader. And many of the best sprinters in the world were also a part of this team, including Andre DeGrasse, Trayvon Bromell, Marvin Bracey, Omar McLeod. So we have a lot of athletes that are a part of this, and I want to be clear here. This does not mean in any way that other athletes such as Andre DeGrasse and Trayvon Bromell were a part of this illegal performance-enhancing drugs use. In fact, to the contrary, but also we have some very, very questionable things coming from Rader, the coach at Tumbleweed, as he is currently under investigation by the U.S. Center for Safe Sport regarding sexual misconduct, and is currently not allowed to coach anyone unless supervised by another adult. So that's not good. This whole situation is not good. and it really does make you wonder what exactly is going on. And they say that bad things sometimes come in threes. I feel like that's what's happened recently with performance-enhancing drugs use. We saw a big uncovering of athletes in Kenya, mostly marathon runners, and then we saw even more athletes, including the 2021 Boston Marathon champion, busted also for performance-enhancing drugs use. And now we're getting this Divine Oduduru situation. And while it's unquestionably a good thing for cheaters to be caught in the sport, as we're trying to make it a level playing field here, it's still a very bad feeling to know that these things are actually happening. So this is really, really sad, honestly, and it seems as though the Athletic Integrity Unit is currently looking for a 6-year ban for Divine Oduduru, which would place him ineligible until 2029, which seems like a long way away, but that's only 6 years from now. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, I'll link a lot of this stuff in the description down below, but basically this is bad news. There's cheaters in the sport. It's good that they're being caught, but it still leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And yeah, I just wanted to shed a little bit more light on this because Divine Oduduru was really one of the best athletes to come out of the NCAA. He pulled off the very rare 100 and 200 meter double. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.